Part 57. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 561. This beating posture is really too familiar. As a result, Roland felt a little pain every time he thought about it. Because when the chief first brought Chief Margaret, he was very overconfident and ran to discuss with her, and was undoubtedly beaten down. It's just a simple straight punch and uppercut, without any skill, simple and crude. Roland was impressed. Several confidants also thought about it, and cold sweat broke out on their backs, and the hairs on their hair stood up in unison. Sir, you, stop talking. Look at how cowardly you are. Roland was very disdainful. I wouldn't. I fucking walked towards him. Did you just say something? Roland's voice faltered. No, it's nothing. Miss Si, your skills are very beautiful. Are you interested in joining T18? His confidants looked at him with contempt. Yes, Si fucking blinked. You have a nice beard. She returned to Yu Tang's side, but Roland still couldn't recover. A few steps behind Si fucking and Yu Zion, he pressed a secret phone number. The chief executive of T18, Tan Jingmo. Chief. After dialing, Roland couldn't wait to ask, Chief Margaret has never been out of Free Continent, right? Hearing this, Tan Jingmo's expression changed slightly, and he smiled. What's wrong? I want to be beaten. In the original explosion, Free Continent only knew that a researcher from the Intercontinental Research Institute died, and did not know that this researcher had other identities. Even the top of the clouds has never told the outside world any news about the 9 disciples. 4 years later, many people have forgotten this incident, but he will never forget it. Just like he will never forget the nightmare that almost destroyed his life 9 years ago. Oh, that's okay, Roland muttered. I met a girl whose skills are very similar to Chief Margaret. Let's just say, she's not the right age. I wonder if it seems impossible that he is a master and apprentice. Tan Jingmo paused his hands and said in a slow voice, where are you? Where's the university town in the western continent? Roland held a cigarette in his mouth. Chief, you don't know, my life has been really hard these days. Over there with 0 dash. Do. The call was hung up. Roland. Only his immediate superiors were the best to him, not only comforting him but also giving him advice. If he hugged Chief Margaret's legs and cried, he would definitely be kicked over. After the group stayed at the hotel, Si fucking took Yu Zion to shoot Zhejiangjiao's commercial. The theme this time is the combination of Chinese and Western. Yu Tang naturally followed. When passing through the city center, Yu Tang suddenly stopped. Si fucking looked at her. What's wrong? Ching, look, it's Yui Sakai. Yu Tang lowered his voice, very excited. Her songs are so good. The surname Sakai is a common surname in Dongsang, and it comes from a family of Onmyoji. Si fucking was very sensitive to the surname. She looked in the direction Yu Tang pointed. It was a woman wearing a red dress. She had beautiful long black hair, flaming red lips, a great figure, and was absolutely attractive. Unlike other Onmyojis in Tasang, Sakai Yui has an extremely powerful charm that makes people fall in love with her. However, Onmyoji has been dealing with creatures like floating spirits all year round, and his aura has always been quite gloomy. Si fucking looked at Yui Sakai for a long time, his fox eyes narrowed slightly. Stay away from her. Yu Tang suddenly woke up from her joy and carefully touched her shoulders. Ching, she won't harm. Will she harm others? Yu Zion and Yu Kishan protected Yu Tang very well. She had a simple and flawless nature. It was only after meeting Si fucking that she learned that Onmyoji really existed. After thousands of years of development, today's Onmyoji techniques are diverse and include various methods. I don't know her. Si fucking shook his head. It's always good to be careful. Indeed, she had fought against the Sakai family several times, but in her impression, Yui Sakai was not among the talented onmyoji of the Sakai family. Sakai Yui also noticed Si fucking, but she just glanced at it casually and then looked away, not paying attention at all. She did know Si fucking, but Si fucking was not enough for her to take him seriously. No matter what, I have to win an international award before communicating with her. Yu Tang followed Si fucking and suddenly said, "Hey, Ching Ching, I suddenly remembered something." Many viewers who attended her concert fell ill after returning. Get ill. Fevers, colds, just such minor illnesses. I also read the gossip on the internet, I don't know if it is true. Si fucking nodded, anyway, stay away from her. Yu Tang nodded vigorously. The three of them soon arrived at the commercial shooting location. The director team and photographers are ready. Yu Tang held a glass of orange juice and sat under the umbrella to watch. Si fucking and Yu Zion changed their clothes, and when they came out, the entire studio lit up. The photographer, who was used to seeing many beauties, couldn't help but take a breath, but came to his senses after Si fucking's reminder. "Mr. Yu, move your hand a little bit this way." "Yes," the photographer said, "the distance between you and Miss Si is too big. Relax and don't be nervous." Si fucking also noticed the slightly tense lines of his arms. His palms were pressed against her waist, and the warmth continued to spread, and she began to feel faintly hot. The moonlit cinnamon fragrance on his body was even clearer at this moment, and she seemed to have fallen into a warm and gentle embrace. The photographer believes this is the best set of photos he has ever taken. Yu Zion is taller than Si fucking. Later, his face was cut off in the photos, leaving only his neck and below. On the contrary, this deliberate blank space made the whole set of photos more refined. Si fucking went to remove her makeup, and Yu Zion turned her head. "Send me the photo." The director was stunned. "Mr. Yu." Yu Zion raised her eyebrows slightly and repeated in a leisurely manner, "Photos." "Oh," the director woke up from a dream, immediately handed over a backup USB disk. "Everything is in it." Yu Zion took it and said, "Original film." "It's the original film," the director said hurriedly, "it has not been edited." U11 nodded and put the USB disk into his suit pocket with his slender fingers. The director watched the man leave in a daze, and couldn't help wiping his sweat. He had never seen such a terrifying man, yet he displayed elegance to the extreme. The director slowed down and asked the photos to be posted on Weibo later. At Zhejianjiao, a fresh set of pictures. See you at the show at Si fucking. Moose people came non-stop to lick the screen and save the pictures. It's so beautiful, I'm going crazy and dying. Who is this man? Broad shoulders, narrow waist, clear collarbone, really good figure. Is the background board also so beautiful? Is it Brother Xie? No, it was Brother Xie who showed his face. Give you 1 minute to hand over all the information about this man. No matter how much netizens urged, 11 Jianjiao remained motionless, and they could only focus all their attention on Si fucking. There are not many red carpet photos of Si fucking, only 3 times in a year, but each time she was very out of the ordinary. Not to mention Zhejianjiao's carefully photographed photos. Amazing is not enough to describe it. Yu Yao was also watching, and he chased Si fucking completely involuntarily, even though he knew that he would not get a look at all. He was scrolling through the comments from netizens, and his heart skipped a beat. Why did he suddenly feel that the man in this photo looked so similar to Yu Zion? Yu Yao immediately pulled out the few photos of Yu Zion and started comparing them. The upper body is indeed very similar. It is undeniable that Yu Zion is perfect in appearance and figure. It is no wonder that some people fall in love with his face. But the only difference is that Yu Zion's legs are disabled, but the man taking the photo with Si fucking has normal legs. It couldn't be Yu Zion. Yu Yao breathed a long sigh of relief. Fine. He is truly a demon. How come Yu Zion and Si fucking have an intersection? Not before, not now, not ever again. Thinking this way, he felt a little better. He and Uzion are only less than 5 years apart, and outsiders regard them as the same generation. If Uzion overpowers him, Yuya really can't accept it? He put the photos away, lay down in the game cabin, logged into Eternity, and then looked for the ghost hand heavenly doctor. On the other side, Nanzo, Feng family. The Feng family has never completely retired like the Ji family and disappeared from everyone's sight, but it has not had much sense of existence in recent years. But a noble family is still a noble family, and the heritage passed down by the Feng family cannot be matched by anyone. Yi, seeing Feng Ziyi come back, Mrs. Feng was surprised. Aren't you an instructor at Xia University? Why did you come back so soon? She took 2 steps forward and was about to say something else when she realized that Feng Ziyi's face was extremely pale. Mrs. Feng's expression changed and she hurriedly supported her. Yi, what's wrong? Mom. Feng Ziyi spoke with a hoarse voice. Mom, I was expelled from T18, what should I do? She held her head and suddenly burst into tears. Don't cry, Mrs. Feng panicked. What's going on? Why did T18 expel you? She was also immersed in the joy that Feng Ziyi would be promoted to a 4th-level investigator by the end of the year and go to the Free Continent headquarters to take the assessment. Why did the situation suddenly change completely? Feng Ziyi's tears flowed even more fiercely, and she recounted the story again, embellishing it. Mom, nothing happened to her. It was me who was injured, and I was the one who lost my job. Her idiot fans chased me and scolded me without knowing why. Mrs. Feng felt very distressed. Yi, stop crying, Mom will make the decision for you. She grabbed Feng Ziyi's hand and said decisively, let's go find the head of the family now. How could the Feng family be bullied by a celebrity? Feng Ziyi wiped her tears and adjusted her clothes. The two went out and met the great elder who had just returned. Mrs. Feng hurriedly bowed and saluted, Great Elder. Feng Ziyi also followed closely behind. The great elder nodded slightly, originally not wanting to stop and say anything, until he glanced at Feng Ziyi's red eyes and couldn't help but frown. What's going on? Good morning. It's the end of the month. If you still have monthly tickets, don't forget to vote for Ching Ching equal 3 equals. Babies who participate in the event remember to send screenshots to the management. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 562. Madame Feng was about to complain, but Feng Ziyi stopped her in time and said, No big elder, I have sand in my eyes and it hurts a little. Upon hearing this, the eldest elder of the Feng family looked her up and down with his sharp eyes. Feng Ziyi bit his lip and restrained his body from trembling. How old you are still so squeamish when you are confused by the sand, the eldest elder of the Feng family said lightly. We will have distinguished guests coming to our door in a while. Don't lose your grace and sense of proportion in front of the distinguished guests. Knowing that Uzion was coming to Nanzhou for inspection, the eldest elder of the Feng family was so excited that he danced for joy. After 1500 years, the Feng family finally got to see this monarch. This is a great blessing for the Feng family. So he couldn't wait to rush back from Siju City, making sure to arrange the Feng family well before Uzion arrived. Although the fact that Uzion is Emperor Yin must not be revealed to the outside world, this does not prevent the Feng family from being loyal to him. Without Emperor Yin, Nanzhou would have been invaded long ago, and the Feng family would not be what it is today. The eldest elder of the Feng family warned Feng Ziyi and his daughter a few more words before leaving in a hurry. After he left, Mrs. Feng became anxious. Ziyi, why are you stopping me? The great elder will definitely make the decision for you. Feng Ziyi said in a low voice, Mom, the matter of the elder's support for marriage has already become a hot topic, so it's not easy to publicize it. The only thing she was lucky about was that the elder didn't know how to read social software like Weibo. Yes, you are still smart, Mrs. Feng snorted coldly. Yi, don't look at Weibo. There are a bunch of idiot fans on Weibo. Isn't she just relying on her fans to besiege you? And I was fired from T18. Feng Ziyi took a deep breath. It must not be known to others. This is the biggest bargaining chip in her worth, so she must keep it tight. Outsiders have no ability to invade T18's system. Yes, you are right. Mrs. Feng patted her chest. It is better to borrow a guard from the head of the family first. The escort is useless. Feng Ziyi frowned coldly. She is very skilled. I was knocked down by her. The escort couldn't get close to her at all, so they could only knock her down fundamentally. Mrs. Feng didn't know why. Feng Ziyi said, Mom, I need some computer experts. If Sci-fi hadn't been so popular on the internet, she wouldn't have been flogged on hot searches. If Sci-fi collapses in the entertainment industry, what will happen without these fans who are charging forward? The entertainment industry is changing with each passing day. As long as Sci-fi has indelible dirt, it will be over. Mrs. Feng didn't know what Feng Ziyi had in mind, but she responded to her daughter's requests. No problem, I'll go to the head of the family to apply. Feng Ziyi hummed lightly. In the entertainment industry, how can there be people who can survive in the mud? She didn't believe Sci-fi could be so clean. Feng Ziyi made a decision in her heart. She would definitely make Sci-fi fall even worse than she did. The next day, Yu Xian took Yu Tang to the University of Itno to complete the admission procedures. Sci-fi bit a lollipop and stood outside waiting. The University of Etno is located in the very center of the university town. It is very prosperous here. In front of it is a Century Mall, where the second largest RM store in the world is located. In addition, there are many luxury brands. Opposite Century Mall is a hotel, which is of high quality and low price, and has high cost performance. Parents or tourists who escort students will choose to stay here. Sci-fi's popularity abroad has indeed just begun, and there are no entertainment records here. She did not wear a mask, only a hat to protect her from the sun. She was eating candy and looking at the scenery aimlessly. A figure broke into her sight. It's a girl. The girl's face was pale, beads of sweat were constantly appearing on her forehead, and her body swayed with every step she took. Finally, when he walked not far from Sci-fi, he fell down heavily without any support pillar. Sci-fi's eyes changed, and he immediately took 2 quick steps forward and helped the girl up. Her hand calmly squeezed the girl's wrist. Everything, including pulse, was normal, and there was nothing abnormal about the heartbeat. Heat stroke. Sci-fi moved his hands quickly on the girl's body, sealed several of her acupuncture points, stuffed a medicine into her mouth, and quickly took her into the car. The air conditioner is on in the car. Perhaps the medicine had taken effect, but a few minutes later, the girl suddenly coughed painfully. She opened her eyes, and when she saw the girl's face, she couldn't help but feel a little dazed, and her thoughts were still a little hard to turn. S.I. Is she dreaming? She unexpectedly met her goddess in the western continent. The girl was so excited that when she was about to stand up, she felt a severe dizziness on her head and fell down again. Sci-fi frowned and held her down. It's me, where have you been these 2 days? The girl's head was dizzy and she couldn't muster any energy. I went back to the hotel after watching Yui's concert yesterday. I slept until now, and I came out to find something to eat. Yes, I understand. Sci-fi calmly put a talisman on the girl's forehead and made a video call to Kukaki Minjio. Kukaki Minjio was in the practice room. She picked up the call, with a paralyzed face like a girl with nothing. Miss, there's something wrong. Sci-fi turned the camera to the girl. Help me see if she has been subjected to any onmyoji. Kukaki Minjio still had no expression, her dark eyes were as cold pools. After a few seconds, she said, I was lucky. Borrowing luck is not the same as directly robbing luck. Luck does not kill, but it does weaken the victim. Si suddenly narrowed his eyes and remembered what Yu Tang said. Obviously, Yui Sakai knows a lot about Onmyoji and the 5 elements formation. She selected some fans who have similar horoscopes to her and borrowed some luck from each fan. The accumulated soil forms a mountain, and the accumulated water forms an abyss. Taken together, these fortunes are huge. Kukaki Minjio said coldly, what a vicious method. Si began to search the internet for information about all Yui Sakai's concerts. Finally, it was found that after Yui Sakai won the first Hera Music Award 5 years ago, her international reputation began to increase. She is a singer-songwriter with countless fans and extremely beautiful appearance. She has attracted countless fans in just 1 year, with hundreds of millions of fans all over the world. At this time, some people on the internet said that after watching Yui Sakai's concert, they developed fevers, colds, etc. to varying degrees, and some people even almost got hit by a car when they went out. If there are too many coincidences, they are no longer coincidences. In other words, in the past 5 years, Yui Sakai has been taking advantage of the opportunity of holding concerts to borrow the luck of the audience. The great thing about her is that each audience member only borrows a little bit, and there is no visible impact at all. However, after returning home, she will suffer from a serious illness, her luck will be sluggish over time, and the possibility of disaster will increase. These borrowed luck gathered on Yui Sakai, and successfully made her career more prosperous, and her fans became more and more. As a result, the more luck she could borrow, the snowball generally grew bigger and bigger. Si had actually heard Yuan Mingqi mention this kind of yin-yang technique, which was equivalent to actively collecting people's hearts, rather than what they really wanted. But it is said that the success rate is not high, and the energy consumed is huge, and few Onmyoji can do it. But Yui Sakai succeeded. Not only did she succeed, she hid it for 5 years. Kukaki Minjio is a seclusion madman who spends most of his time practicing, and Yuan Mingqi is in free continent. Really no one can deal with Yui Sakai. Are you interested in meeting this international queen with me? Si raised her eyebrows, miss. Wait for me. Kukaki Minjio hung up the phone. Si also put away her mobile phone and immediately asked Shanglu to escort the girl back to Daxia, and asked Ji Xingzi to pick her up at the airport. Apart from fighting, she is really not very good at other Onmyoji. Let her break the curse, it is better to let her break the mountain with one punch. In the evening, Si was about to go out to pick up Kukaki Minjio when he met an uninvited guest. The uninvited guest smiled, hello, sister I am Yin Xiangxi. Si raised her head. She had no impression of Yin Xiangxi. Yin Xiangxi smiled slightly and said, my father also grew up with Uncle Baikan and Uncle Yeonian. They are brothers who have a very good relationship. Si said oh but had no reaction, what's the matter? Yin Xiangxi smiled again, Sister Fuqing, we are all Yin family members, and we coexist with honor and disgrace. What happened to 11 Fangqi last time was because of his own brain problems. Don't misunderstand Sister Yun 11. Sister, Si raised his lips and smiled. When Yin Xiangxi saw her smiling, she felt happy in her heart. Just when she was about to say something, she suddenly stopped smiling when she saw the girl, saying coldly, what's your name, sister? I'm your father. Yin Xiangxi was startled by Si sudden change of expression. She sat down on the ground with a bang, her face instantly turned pale, and a layer of cold sweat broke out on her back. Si crossed his arms and returned to his lazy posture, sorry, I scared you. What can you do? Yin Xiangxi remembered Yin Yongzi's instructions, but she was also very afraid of Si. She wiped her sweat and spoke tremblingly, Sister Fuqing, you have just entered the international entertainment industry and have not yet established a firm foothold. This is when you need connections. These are the tickets for the VIP seats at Yui Sakai's concert. As she spoke, she pushed the 2 red and gold tickets over. What is written above is Sakai Yui's World Tour concert, and the next stop happens to be the Daxia Empire. Sakai Yui is indeed an international level diva, and the tickets were sold out as early as last year. Yin Xiangxi also found many connections and obtained these 2 tickets at a high price. She spent a lot of material resources for this, but as long as SI fucking could go, it would be worth it. Yin Xiangxi looked at SI fucking, her eyelashes lowered to cover her eager eyes. Onmyoji kills people invisible. Even if Yin Yaonian learned the news, he would never be able to save SI fucking in time. SI fucking suddenly smiled, you came to me from the Yin family not far away, just because you want me to go to Yui Sakai's concert. Okay, I'll satisfy you. Ching ching, someone gave me a pillow if I fell asleep. When it comes to changing faces, Brother Xie has to learn from Ching ching. I am strongly asking for a monthly ticket for Ching ching. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 563. Si fucking was about to discuss with Kukaki Minjiu how to return all the luck that Yui Sakai had borrowed over the years to the owner of the luck without alerting the enemy. Yin Xiangxi gave her 2 tickets to Yui Sakai's concert, which were VIP seats. Not only did it save her trouble, but it also saved her a lot of money. Si fucking looked at Yin Xiangxi with a kind look. Yin Xiangxi's heart was beating fast. She didn't know why, but she always felt that Si fucking's smile was scary, but she couldn't tell what was wrong. She pinched her palms, forcing herself to calm down, and showed a very forced smile. You have been back for so long, and there is nothing we can do to help you. Yui Sakai is an international queen, and she is friendly. If you can go to her concert, you will definitely be able to talk to her. That's it, you have good intentions. Si fucking put the 2 tickets away and suddenly smiled again. Didn't it cost a lot of money? Yin Xiangxi gritted her teeth and still smiled. It's not much money. As long as I can see you and Sister Yungzi reconcile, no matter how much money I spend, it will be worth it. Si fucking smile deepened and she said sincerely, thank you. The uneasiness in Yin Xiangxi's heart grew bigger and bigger. She was afraid that her secret would be revealed if she stayed any longer, so she found an excuse and left in a hurry. After leaving the hotel and walking to the next street, she calmed down her racing heart. She lowered her head and looked at a chip in her palm that was only half the size of a thumbnail. The chip is the latest invention of the Evolution Alliance laboratory. It can be connected to a mobile phone and measure the evolution energy data within 10 meters. Yin Xiangxi clicked on another software on her phone. Above is a number. 3. 3 means there is energy fluctuation, but it is very weak, which proves that Si fucking's level is indeed below D level and has no threat. She laughed that she was worried that Si fucking had restrained his energy because of his high level. But if everything converges, it should be 0. Yin Xiangxi breathed a sigh of relief. In fact, Yin Xiangxi accidentally learned that Sakai Yui was doing some shameful things by taking the opportunity of holding a concert. It's just that the Evolvers and the Onmyoji don't conflict with each other. As long as Yui Sakai does not harm their interests, of course they will not cause trouble for Yui Sakai. Of course, Yui Sakai is also very sensible and will not take action against the evolved people. He only targets a group of ordinary people. Go and deliver a letter to Yui Sakai. Yin Xiangxi's eyes moved. Tell me that I will give her a big gift. The guard nodded and quietly went down to prepare. 20 minutes later, Si fucking received Kukaki Minjiu. She was wearing a black hoodie and carrying a base bag. No one knows that the base bag actually contains Tiankongyunjian, one of the three great swords in Dongsang mythology. Tickets for the concert. Sci-fi took out a ticket and stuffed it into her hand. It didn't cost a penny. Kukaki Minjio said calmly, "Very good, let's go to Daxia." "Wait a moment," Sci-fi said, "let me tell brother Ninth first." She dialed Uzian's phone number. Kukaki Minjio was keenly aware of the change in her tone. After the call ended, she said, "Boyfriend." Sci-fi thought for a while, "Am I chasing him?" Another expression finally appeared on Kukaki Minjio's face. It was unexpected and even slightly broken. "You?" "Well, yes, what about you? Didn't your family urge you to get married?" "No interest, I just like my sword." Sci-fi said lazily, "Actually, I'm not interested, but he looks so good looking and his voice is so nice." Kukaki Minjio fell silent. It is true that she has no interest in men and women, but she has heard a sentence. All things begin with lust. It's probably not far away. I heard that Daxia has a custom of collecting money from members, so she can prepare it in advance. Dongzhou Yuchun International Airport. Yuchun is the capital city of Dongzhou. Yui Sakai arrived here at noon today. Her reputation was huge, and many fans came from other cities to pick her up. Sakai Yui also smiled and greeted them one by one. Her smile came from the bottom of her heart. After all, in her eyes, these fans are all lambs waiting to be slaughtered. She was naturally very patient with them. Sakai Yui got in the car and came to the hotel prepared for her by the concert organizer. Miss Yui, the deacon walked in and bowed respectfully. "Someone from the Yin family has sent you a message." "Yin family?" Sakai Yui's lazy expression disappeared and became serious. "Give it to me." The Yin family is one of the three major evolver families, and the Sakai family is all afraid of it. After all, compared to evolvers, Onmyoji's physical fitness is indeed very weak. She had met the eldest lady of the Yin family, but there was no more unnecessary contact. Why did the Yin family suddenly contact her? The deacon immediately handed the message sent by Yin Xiangxi to Yui Sakai. Sakai Yui opened the note and narrowed her eyes suddenly. The above is Sci-Fucking's personal information, including the date of birth, and how Sci-Fucking became a top-notch goddess in domestic entertainment and became a song girl with the movie Demon. At the end, there was this sentence written on the note. "Miss Yui, her luck must be very strong. Miss Yui can ask for it in moderation." Sakai Yui's eyes narrowed even more. There were indeed other singers or actors who borrowed some luck from her. Later, these people's health became worse than before, and they slowly withdrew from the industry. Celebrities have much better luck than ordinary people. A star is worth at least 10,000 ordinary people. But the entertainment industry does believe in this. She has only successfully borrowed luck from 3 celebrities. Up to now, she has not touched a celebrity for 3 years. And as she borrowed more and more luck, the small luck of ordinary people no longer had any obvious impact on her. She really needs to find someone with great luck. But such people are hard to find, and she can't guarantee that she can do it without leaving any trace. She has no reason to invite such people to her concerts. If she is discovered, I am afraid she will be punished verbally and writtenly by the yin-yang and 5 elements realm. Sakai Yui stared at the words on the note, then she tore the note and smiled slightly. "Tell her, I understand, and thank her for bringing me a plate of dinner." She stretched out slowly and went into the bathroom to take a bath to relax her muscles and prepare for the concert tomorrow night. Early the next morning, the Yuchun Great Hall was already packed with people. Even if many people don't have tickets, they are all willing to see Yui Sakai. Sci-Fucking and Kukaki Minjio had VIP tickets. They could easily enter through the VIP passage at 6 o'clock, and there was also exclusive waiter service. She does have a lot of fans. Kukaki Minjio turned around and glanced. "You will too in the future." Si fucking chuckled and said lazily, my goal is to surpass Yunlin. After the two entered the auditorium, they first walked around the entire auditorium in the name of curiosity. Si fucking asked, did you find anything? The yin and yang formation has been arranged here in advance, and there are small connected formations under each seat. Kukaki Minjio said lightly, the eye of the formation is on the stage. Once the formation is activated, no one can leave the auditorium, and the outside world will also automatically block this place. Si fucking's eyes turned cold, no wonder. It is through this method that Yui Sakai is able to borrow the luck of her fans time and time again. In the past 5 years, she has held more than 10 concerts. Coupled with the extremely low ticket prices for Yui Sakai's concerts, more and more fans have the financial means to attend the concerts, and the number of victims may already be in the millions. Kukaki Minjio frowned, you really don't know other onmyoji. There's no way Si fucking sighed, I'm too useless to learn. Kukaki Minjio gave her a cold look, not really wanting to communicate with her. How about you recommend me a teacher who can teach you the principles of yin-yang and 5 elements? Si fucking put his hands in his pockets and followed her slowly, maybe I will be enlightened. Kukaki Minjio said, I learned it in Yunmen's. Yunmen's is one of the 10 most dangerous places in eternity. Si fucking's eyes changed slightly, that's what you told me. Kukaki Minjio opened a door and said in a calm voice, it's just you. If you wanted to kill me, you would have killed me long ago. If you kill me, I have no complaints. Her life was originally saved by Si fucking, otherwise she would have died on the eternal continent. Onmyoji inherently emphasizes the cycle of cause and effect. Si fucking was silent for a moment, yes. It feels really good to be trusted. After the two of them circled the hall again, they returned to their seats. At this time, the audience in the ordinary seats also began to enter, and the lights were turned on. When the time is up, the host appears. Welcome to Yui's concert. This is Yui's first time to hold a concert in the Daxia Empire. Everyone is welcome. The audience was cheering and screaming, and fans were waving support signs and banners. The atmosphere was very heated. Si fucking and Kukaki Minjio were sitting in the first row, facing the stage. Yuki Minjio changed her appearance, but Si fucking did not. When the cameras swept across the audience, it stayed on her for 3 seconds. There was a moment of silence. Suddenly there was an even louder cheer. Damn it, Goddess Si actually came to the concert. It's a dream collaboration. Ah. Let Yui invite baby Ching Ching to come up and sing a song. Wife, look here. Yui Sakai was still backstage when she heard these wild shouts. She pinched a few talismans in her hand and hid them in her sleeves, let the people outside wait for a few more minutes. Don't shout so loud, I have a headache. The deacon obeyed the order and went out, and came back 10 seconds later. He hesitated and said, Miss Yui, they are shouting for Si fucking, and they also hope that you can personally invite her to perform on stage. With a pop sound, Yui Sakai slammed the cup on the table, should I invite her? Are these fans crazy? Is it her fans or Si fuckings? Sakai Yui quickly put on her headgear and went out with a cold face. She also saw Si fucking sitting in the center at a glance, and sneered inwardly. She was actually at the VIP table, so don't blame her for borrowing Si fucking's luck without being polite. It's the last 2 days of August. For those who still have monthly passes, give me a shout out. Every time I encounter comments like this kind of reality is impossible, it's illogical. Guess, why is it called a fantasy novel? Whoever tells me that reality exists, I'll wake him up with a book first. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 564. This incident really surprised Yui Sakai. Her fans are all over the world, and the singer's fans are much longer than those of the actor. After all, actors are always playing other people, but singers are themselves. Yui Sakai has received many letters and gifts from Daxia fans, and some Daxia fans will go abroad to see her. The reason why she has never come to Daxia is not because she doesn't want to make money, but because she is afraid of the G family. Last year, the Sakai family's treasure house was bombed for no reason, and the elders searched for it for a long time but could not find the culprit. However, it was found from some clues that the onmyoji involved in the explosion did not belong to Dongsang. Later, Tama Shii showed up in Dongsang, and the Fujiyama family was massacred by Minamoto Akira and a mysterious man, as well as Kukaki Minjitsu. The remaining three families were panic-stricken, and they all recalled their direct descendants who were outside. But Yui Sakai no longer has the patience to wait any longer, because she has almost exhausted the luck she has borrowed from other regions in the past 5 years, and she can only receive it once from a fan. What made her even more excited was that there were 5 dragon veins in Daxia. This time she also wanted to try to see if she could steal the Great Xia's luck contained in the dragon's veins. Next to Yuchen in Dongzhou is Fuzang Mountain, which is one of the 5 dragon veins. This is the reason why the concert will be held in Yuchen. From Yui Sakai's point of view, these fans were just providing her with nourishment, but when she saw that the fans' voices in welcoming Sci-fi were louder than hers, of course she couldn't accept it. Sci-fi is so popular in the Daxia Empire without even winning an international award. This is obviously her home court. Sakai Yui frowned, feeling very unhappy. But if she said it bluntly, the audience would think she was being petty, so she signaled the host to come on stage first and ask the fans to quiet down. Sakai Yui indeed underestimated Sci-fi's influence in Daxia. She came to Yuchen to hold a concert, and there was only the word hot behind the entry. But when someone uploaded a photo of Sci-fi appearing at the concert, the hot search exploded instantly. #Sci-fi, Sakai Yui hashtag. Wow, isn't Ching Ching a fan of Yui's? VIP seats are hard to get. It is possible that the two are friends, and Sakai Yui directly gave Ching Ching a favor. Well, to be honest, these two names are incompatible with each other. Yes, Sakai Yui has won 3 Hera Music Awards, which is more than Lu Ningzhen's. Netizens have speculated. At the scene, thanks to the efforts of the host, the auditorium finally returned to normal. The concert officially begins. During the singing process, it was difficult for Yui Sakai not to pay attention to Sci-fi. She could also feel the girl's eyes following her, which made her very uncomfortable. But that's not important. What's important is that she will be able to borrow new luck right away. This will not only benefit her career, but also help her practice yin-yang and the 5 elements. The Fujiyama family has fallen, and it is time for the yin-yang and 5 elements realm to change its rulers. When the song reached its climax, Yui Sakai slowly raised her hands, opened her arms, and showed a seductive smile. My dear friends, dedicate everything you have to me. The thunder of applause intertwined with the drum beat of music. Under the interweaving colors of neon lights, the entire synagogue was filled with demons dancing wildly, making it very crazy. Everything was the same as the previous concerts. But Yui Sakai felt no joy at all, and her thoughts stopped spinning. What happened? The formation has been activated, but why doesn't she get any luck? Sci-fi, as one of the top celebrities in Daxia, should have much better luck than other stars, but she never felt it at all. Is there something wrong with the formation? For a moment, Sakai Yui was stunned on the spot. The audience in the audience also didn't understand. Did Yui forget her words? This has never happened before. It's a big taboo to forget your lyrics during a concert. You should make up for it in time if you forget your lyrics. Why is Yui always in a daze? It was also the first time that the manager saw Yui Sakai forgetting her words. He became anxious and kept shouting into the headset, Yui? Yui? Sakayui still didn't come back to her senses. Just when the concert was about to get completely out of control, a voice powerfully inserted into the music, perfectly matching the drum beat. Listen to her, fate is at a loss. This is not the first time Sci-fi has sung, but she rarely sings. There is something powerful and calming about her voice. The audience was stunned for a moment, then cheered louder. Sakayui's mind suddenly went blank, as if something was hitting her nerves, and her internal organs were tumbling violently. With a bang, her vision went dark and she fell straight to the ground. At the same time, the wooden floor of the stage suddenly exploded, and the blasting sound of bang 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 was clearly transmitted to everyone's ears. On the ceiling, a huge chandelier crashed down and shattered next to Yui Sakai. The music cut off and the whole place fell silent. It was quiet for more than 10 seconds before any fans screamed. There was chaos in the auditorium, and security personnel were dispatched. The manager's expression changed drastically and he hurriedly came on stage. Yui. #performance accident #. #Sakayui fainted #. #SI rescue field #. Various clips began to circulate on the internet, and hot searches were once again triggered. It is indeed big news that something like this happened to Yui Sakai, an international diva, in Daxia. Fans of Yui Sakai are going crazy. What happened to the organizer? Why not check out the concert venue in advance? You are killing people. Yui has performed nearly 100 concerts. Why did something happen in Daxia? Do you have any conspiracy? Responsible, responsible, responsible. The internet is in chaos, but some netizens are focusing on the wrong thing. Does Sci-fi really not consider becoming a singer? It sounds so good. For an outsider, do you think she is no worse than the international diva? Please, stop talking and let her act in peace. I guess the behind-the-scenes production information list of the female general of the kingdom must be like this: screenwriter, Sci-fi, martial arts director, Sci-fi, starring, Sci-fi, composer, Sci-fi. Netizens. There doesn't seem to be any big problem. Music people are exhausted mentally and physically, and it is not a happy thing to follow an idol who is too versatile. Here, Yui Sakai was sent to the hospital, and the manager was extremely anxious. But after a series of instrumental tests, no symptoms were found. Doctors can only prescribe some medicine to replenish the body. Seeing more and more media being attracted, the agent had no choice but to leave the hospital with Yui Sakai and go to a private villa. Sakayui is still in a coma. I don't know if it was his illusion, but the manager always felt that Yui Sakai's charm suddenly declined, like a star that suddenly lost its light and dimmed. He knocked on his head, laughing to himself that he was just thinking wildly. Boom! The door was suddenly kicked open and he fell to the ground. The agent was startled and turned around sharply. The girl stood in the thin moonlight, covered with a silvery white glow. She raised her head, her face completely exposed to the air. The critical strike of Shinyan at close range has great impact. But the agent couldn't immerse himself in this face that was praised as unifying domestic and foreign aesthetics. He only felt an unprecedented fear. He swallowed hard and opened his mouth, but no words came out. He ran pretty fast. Sci-fi said calmly, it's a pity that running is useless. Bang! There was another sound, the roof exploded, and a sword fell from the sky and was inserted into the floor. The agent couldn't help but scream. Sci-fi raised his head and raised his eyebrows. Miss, you are too violent. Kukaki Minjio jumped down and said coldly, you are too fast. The agent's hand trembled. What do you want to do? Sakayui and Sci-fi are both public figures. The heat is higher than the other. How dare Sci-fi barge in directly? Could it be that today's performance accident had something to do with her? Who is this woman holding the sword? The agent's fingers were trembling, and he took out his cell phone to call for help. The next second, the phone in his hand twisted in a strange way, and soon turned into a piece of rotten metal. He screamed again and became incontinent. It has nothing to do with you. I fucking glanced at him indifferently. I can let you go, I only give you 3 seconds. She raised her finger and started counting, 3, 2. Before the number 1 came out, the agent had already run out crawling. Yui Sakai just woke up. Before she could fully open her eyes, her chin was locked. The cold breath made her shiver. When she saw a familiar face, her pupils shrank suddenly. You. Si fucking? How is this going? You are so brave when you come to Daxia and want to attack my fans. Si fucking patted Sakai Yui's pale face. I admire your courage, so I decided to give you a gift. Sakai Yui is not a fool. This sentence made her instantly understand that her luck with fans has been exposed. She had not succeeded in borrowing it before, and it was indeed someone who destroyed her formation. Yui Sakai no longer had time to think about how Si fucking found out. She stood up suddenly, burned the talisman hidden in her sleeve, and rushed out at a speed that exceeded human limits. But before she ran a few steps, there was a bang and she was instantly bounced back. The power of yin-yang and the 5 elements surged crazily, trapping Yui Sakai in it like a huge net. She has absorbed so much luck for so many years, but she has never been so powerful. Even the elders of the Sakai family had never made her feel such fear. Could it be? In horror, Sakai Yui raised her head tremblingly, even the blood on her lips lost color. You. Si fucking smiled, can you run away? She is more than just a star. Dear babies, give me your votes. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 565. Sakai Yui collapsed on the ground, her brain completely stopped. She stared blankly at the girl in front of her, her ears buzzing. It's already here, how could she still not understand? Onmyoji. Si fucking is actually an Onmyoji. But when did Onmyoji's combat effectiveness become so high? Not to mention that Daxia didn't even have a floating spirit, so she was at a loss here. A very incredible idea came to Yui Sakai's mind, but it passed so quickly that she didn't catch it. The next second, she saw another face. At this time, Kukaki Minjyu had already taken off his disguise. Of course, it was impossible for Yui Sakai not to recognize this face. Her pupils shrank violently, and fear had occupied her entire heart, as if a big hand was strangling her and suffocating her breath. Kukaki. Kukaki Minjyu actually knew Si fucking. 2 Onmyoji masters. No wonder she was able to discover the formation she arranged and destroy it. She actually wants to escape? Sakai Yui shivered all over, completely lost the idea of escape, and fell into despair. But she didn't forget who put her in this situation. Sakai Yui's eyes were red, and she shouted heartbreakingly, Yinxiangxi. If Yinxiangxi hadn't given the VIP seats to Si fucking and Kukaki Minjyu, she wouldn't have discovered it at all, and she would still be her international queen very freely. Yinxiangxi actually harmed her on purpose. Oh, Yinxiangxi. Si fucking squatted down and smiled slightly. She must have told you that I am a top-notch person with better luck than ordinary people, so she asked you to take more care of me, right? Sakai Yui's teeth were chattering and she couldn't speak at all. She wanted to retreat, but her legs were too weak to move. You want my luck so much, how can you do it without giving it a try? Si fucking suddenly grabbed Yui Sakai's shoulders. The next second, Yui Sakai let out a heartbreaking scream, ah! She only felt a severe burning sensation in her heart, her internal organs were all mixed together, and she was rolling on the ground in pain. Under the pain, Sakai Yui's thoughts became clear. She was so horrified that she blurted out, You are the daughter of luck. It is not a secret that the Fujiyama family has captured a lucky girl, but the other three families know that they are not as powerful as the Fujiyama family, so of course they will not snatch her. When Yui Sakai got the news, he was inevitably a little coveted, and more importantly, jealous. Why is God so unfair that she still uses concerts to gain luck? Some people are born to be God's favorite. But Yui Sakai also knew that even if she could get the luck of the luck girl, she wouldn't be able to use it because her body simply couldn't bear it. Sakai Yui screamed miserably and began to plead, "I know I was wrong, please, please let me go. By the way, my father's surname is Yin." Fucking was unmoved, her smile deepened. "How could the Yin family help you to harm me? Why did you believe it so easily? If we get rid of you, our eldest lady will also have one less opponent. We can kill two birds with one stone." Hearing these words, Sakai Yui was furious. Yin Xiangxi actually lied to her. Sakai Yui couldn't bear it. She spit out a mouthful of blood and fainted again. Silence returned to the surroundings. Sakai Yui's power of yin-yang and 5 elements has been abolished, and there is no possibility of rebuilding it. Kukaki Minjio suddenly asked, "How can I get her to give back the luck she has gained over the past 5 years? Fucking was very calm, "I can't." Kukaki Minjio said expressionlessly, "Me too." The two stared at each other in silence for a while, but Fucking took out his cell phone, dialed Jizingzi's number, and snuck him over from the next city. Later, she contacted Xia Yankaiu and asked the Supernatural Bureau to handle the follow-up incident. News of Yui Sakai's performance accident has spread, but neither the organizer nor the agency Maya Music has spoken out. No one followed up on the follow-up treatment, and some entertainment reporters even posted the news that Sakai Yui is missing. Emotional fans have already rushed to the auditorium, demanding that the organizers give everyone an explanation immediately. At the same time, Daxia's malicious remarks against Yui Sakai appeared on several large social platforms around the world. No wonder Yui didn't go to Daxia. Such a thing happened as soon as she went there. Who would believe it if it wasn't intentional? Daxia doesn't think that without Sakai Yui, you can produce a diva with the same level of achievements as her, right? What are you dreaming about? I knew that Yui was going to hold a concert, but I didn't check the auditorium carefully. You just want her life. If Daxia doesn't give an explanation, this matter will never end. Boycott Daxia, start with me. Public opinion on the internet is very unfavorable to the Daxia empire. After all, it is impossible to show all the details of this kind of thing to the public. Onmyoji is only a niche after all. How did Xia handle such matters before? Fucking raised her eyebrows. There must have been many major public incidents, right? Xia Yankaiu nodded and said, "Yes, this is very simple. Leave it to the Supernatural Management Bureau. It is true that Yui Sakai will not kill other people by borrowing luck, but her doing so violates the theorem of yin-yang and 5 elements, and the crime cannot be punished." Then I'll bother Auntie Xia. Fucking smiled, "I'll give you a few sets of clothes then. It's a small thing, but Auntie should thank you." Xia Yankaiu said, "If you hadn't discovered it in time, I don't know how many people in Daxia she would have harmed." The Supernatural Management Bureau cannot control other places, but now that she has set foot on the land of the 5 states of Daxia, she can control it. Xia Yankaiu asked his deputy to handle online public opinion. Jizingzi quietly gave a thumbs up. "Brother, you are awesome. You just detained Yui Sakai. I am afraid those old men from the Sakai family will come directly to kill you. The current head of the Sakai family is Sakai Yui's father, so it is of course impossible for him to let Sakai Yui be caught. I'm afraid it's already on its way here. Netizens don't know, how could the Sakai family not know what Yui Sakai did?" Fucking said and said unhurriedly, "If they come to kill me, I will hand you over." Jizingzi was shocked. "Why? You burned their treasure house." Here, the top management of Maya Music came from the Western continent immediately after receiving the news that Yui Sakai fainted. The news that the media broke was not a rumor. Yui Sakai was missing and no one could find her. Eudaxia have gone too far, the manager yelled angrily. Not only did you fail to handle the stage accident, but you even detained Yui without permission. She is not from your Daxia, and you have no right to do this. Yui Sakai is the golden name of Maya Music, bringing more than 1 billion in revenue to Maya Music every year. In addition, every time Yui Sakai holds a concert, she takes the initiative to give up the majority of the money to the agency, and the top management of Maya Music is very satisfied with her. Even if the materials needed for her concert are very complicated, they will help her prepare them one by one. The manager didn't expect anything like this to happen. The organizer kept wiping his sweat and apologized, "Mr. Carl, there is absolutely no problem with our hall. We have also sent people to find Miss Sakai, and I will definitely give you an explanation. But as we know in the show, Miss Yui was taken away by her agent. Mr. Carl should contact him first." He was also very frightened inside. Why did the stage suddenly explode? Taken away by the manager? Why is she missing? Where is the manager? Let me tell you, Yui is the eldest daughter of the Sakai family. The manager laughed angrily. If something happens to her, be careful that the Sakai family will let you all buried with him. The organizer felt cold all over and panicked, "Mr. Carl, we..." With a squeak sound, the door was pushed open at this moment, and a young man walked in. He was wearing a black outfit with the word Spirit embroidered on his left chest. The Spirit Alliance is now known as the Supernatural Administration. The organizer was stunned. The manager was still angry. "Who are you? This is where you can come in? Get out." The young man was not annoyed and said calmly, "Mr. Carl, haven't you read the news just now?" "What news?" The manager laughed angrily. "You hit Yui and it caused an international scandal. Do you know that you ruined Daxia's reputation? So I came here specifically to deliver a message to Mr. Carl." The young man put the tablet on the table. "Please." The manager didn't want to look, but his eyes turned to the screen uncontrollably. The above is a long article, published 10 minutes ago. In such a short period of time, it received over 100,000 forwarded comments and millions of likes. Hello everyone, I have been a fan of Yui Sakai for 8 years, even before she was famous. After chasing her for so long, I never thought that I was just a tool. Everyone who attended her concerts fell ill at the same time. In severe cases, they went crazy and rushed to the road, and died in a car accident. I am here to tell you that this is not a coincidence, this is man-made and a conspiracy. Facts have proved that she has been taking advantage of the concert opportunity to give fans some kind of drug that can affect the central nervous system, which seriously damages our bodies. She keeps lowering the cost of concert tickets in order to allow more people of fans go to her concerts. We demand that she get the punishment she deserves and that Maya Music compensate us for our losses. A lot of evidence is listed below, as well as information from specialized pharmaceutical laboratories. After the manager finished reading, his body began to tremble. He raised his head suddenly, his face full of disbelief. "This is not. How could Yui Sakai do such a thing? What's in it for her? You still want us to apologize?" The young man laughed coldly. "Why don't you think about how to explain to the masses now and how to beg Daxia to let you go? The bullying has come to Daxia, and this matter is not over. Good morning. It's the last day, babies. Please remember to vote for King Kingway equal 3 equals. I'll sort out the details and update them for you tomorrow. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 566. This article not only ranked number 1 on Weibo but was also posted on several other large social platforms around the world, shocking the entire world. Is Yui Sakai crazy? Oh my god, what is she doing? Her fans are her bread and butter, isn't she killing people's lives? No wonder I felt extremely uncomfortable after watching her concert last year. I went to the hospital for a checkup and said it was a common cold. It turned out to be the case. I guess this time I went to Daxia to hold a concert and prepared to do the same thing, but I got caught. The stage accident was totally deserved. The Supernatural Bureau has dealt with this kind of thing many times, and the follow-up work was indeed done easily, and public opinion was completely reversed. Of course Onmyoji will not be made public, but 9 points are true. Soon, many people posted that they all fell ill after attending Yui Sakai's concert. No matter how great Yui Sakai's performance is, she will never be tolerated by the public if she does such a thing. Netizens in the Daxia Empire still focused on SI fucking. I deeply suspect that SI fucking showed up at the concert because she knew something. She doesn't look like someone who has enough time to go to a concert. She must be making money during this time. Good guy, does this mean that Sister SI no longer plays with the domestic entertainment industry, and is now starting to occupy the international market? Commissioner of Discipline Inspection is well deserved. This time it is the turn of the entire international entertainment industry to tremble. The manager of Maya Music still couldn't believe it, and he shouted, "This is impossible. Yui Sakai's musical skills are nothing to say." Being able to win the Hera Music Award several times in a row is considered to be the pinnacle of strength in the music industry. What benefits can be gained from treating fans like this? Whether it's possible or not, the facts are here. The young man looked indifferent. You Maya Music are an accomplice. You can't leave Dongzhou until we fully find out. He clapped his hands, and 2 more young men came in, twisted the manager's arms behind his back, and took him to an interrogation room. There was another person in the interrogation room, Yui Sakai's manager. The 2 young men pushed the manager in and closed the door. The manager smashed the door angrily, but the solid door didn't budge. He turned his head suddenly and said, "What happened? Didn't you take Yui away? Where are the people? Where did the medicine come from?" The agent opened his mouth. He tried hard to recall what happened yesterday, but was horrified to find that his mind went blank and he could not remember anything. All he knew was that something extremely horrific had happened, so he ran away. The manager became even more angry. "You are her manager, don't you know what she is doing?" The agent still had nothing to say. Whatever Yui Sakai wants, he will definitely prepare something for her, even if the material is extremely weird, such as spider corpses or crow's eyes. He didn't know if it had anything to do with it. The agent buried his head deeply in his knees, his shoulders trembling. If he had it to do over again, he would definitely not do this. It's a pity that there is no if. Here, the young man turned back to Xia Yankaiu. Jizingzi returned the luck that Yui Sakai had borrowed in the past 5 years to their owners. Without these luck, Yui Sakai's face aged at a speed visible to the naked eye. This is the cost and the backlash. Si fucking very considerately took a mirror and handed it to Yui Sakai. "Here, take a look." Yui Sakai only took one look, then screamed and threw the mirror out. She held her head, unwilling to accept her current appearance. The young man asked respectfully, "Sir, how will she deal with it?" "Lock him up." Xia Yankaiu snorted coldly, "Lock him up with the newly captured A-level evolver." Kukaki Minjio raised his head, "A-level evolver?" On the side, Xiaoyu flexed his long legs and spoke lazily, "An evolver who can control the wind almost destroyed a small county with a population of 100,000. Si fucking nodded slightly, "That's it?" Evolver's abilities involve the field of elemental mastery. Without exception, they all have high bloodlines and extremely lethal power. But elements are natural products that evolvers cannot control well, so such evolvers will also go berserk because they cannot control their own energy. "I'm going back first." Kukaki Minjio turned around, "Can you deal with the Sakai family by yourself?" "No problem." Si fucking gestured with "okay," I've recovered very well recently. Hearing these words, Kukaki Minjiu's calm eyes were filled with blazing fighting spirit. You. She just said one word when she was interrupted by Sci-fucking, no, wait until I fully recover. She would never fight with Kukaki Minjiu, and she might not be able to stop fighting for 2 or 3 days. Kukaki Minjiu instantly lost his expression and turned away. Ji Xingzi wrapped up his clothes and said sincerely, brother, you are awesome. No one but you dares to talk to her like this. Yui Sakai was taken away, and the Supernatural Management Bureau also closed the team. It was rare for Xia Yankaiu to meet Sci-fucking, so he stayed to chat with her. Ching Ching, you are so amazing, the right hand of God, I like every dress you design. Sci-fucking had a complicated expression, and Xia, why do you call me the right hand of God? The clothes you designed are unique in the fashion industry. Xia Yankaiu's eyebrows were ecstatic. Only the hand of God can design it, so that's why it's called that. How vivid. Sci-fucking. 2 out of 10. Sci-fucking thought for a moment, has Aunt Xia ever been to Free Continent? I been there once. Xia Yankaiu frowned, it was too dangerous there, so I didn't stay long. While the two were talking, there was a bang and the door was suddenly blasted open. Then there was a series of footsteps, numbering at least 40. Xia Yankaiu turned his head and looked out the door with a cold expression. The leader is a middle-aged man, wearing a robe and a typical onmyoji look. The word Sakai is embroidered on his clothes, which is very bright. Ji Xingzi's eyes changed and he lowered his voice, brother, he is the head of the Sakai family. He is an onmyoji. He is very talented. I was almost caught by him when I bombed their treasure house. Oh, Sci-fucking narrowed his fox eyes lightly, why are you such a bad guy? Ji Xingzi grimaced. He is not a pure combat onmyoji. The head of the Sakai family looked cold, where is Yui? Xia Yankaiu raised his eyelids, why, are you going to accompany her in the prison of the Supernatural Administration Bureau? Stop talking nonsense and let me go quickly. The head of the Sakai family suddenly flashed in his eyes and said aggressively, otherwise, today will be the day you die. This time, he brought dozens of elite onmyoji from his family here, and he must let Sakai Yui return to Dongsang intact. The fight is not only for Yui Sakai's life, but also for the face of the Sakai family. A direct member of the Sakai family has been detained by the Supernatural Administration Bureau. Where does the news spread that the Sakai family's face should be put? Xia Yankaiu said coldly, you are dreaming. The airflow surged, and the power of the A-level evolver exploded. Seeing this scene, the head of the Sakai family was well prepared. He put his hands behind his back and smiled coldly, form up. Behind him, the onmyojis each summoned their own Shikigami and quickly formed a formation. Boom. The two sides fought, but Xia Yankaiu flew backwards. The head of the Sakai family didn't even move. Xia Yu's expression changed and he immediately stepped forward, Mom. I'm fine. Xia Yankaiu stood up with a heavy look in his eyes, I was just tickling my mother. Of course I know that you are members of the Supernatural Management Bureau, and I have been prepared for it. The head of the Sakai family said, don't talk about you. Even if there are 10 A-level evolvers now, they still can't break through my defense. After all, evolvers and onmyoji do not use the same power. In the silence, Sci-fucking suddenly smiled, really? The head of the Sakai family frowned and scolded, who are you? Mr. Sakai, it seems that you have been working behind closed doors for so long that you have forgotten the history of your family. Sci-fucking smiled slightly, don't worry, I'll give you some extra lessons. Sakai's face darkened, what are you talking about? A junior, but he still taught him. Sci-fucking was not afraid, she spoke slowly and unhurriedly, in 704 of the lunar calendar, your ancestors followed the ancestors of the Tengshan family to travel west to Daxia and came to Dongzhou. At this time, Emperor Yin died and the 5 states had been recovered. It opened up an unprecedented prosperous era. You are not the only one. The Western continent has also sent envoys to Ardaxia to learn the advanced mechanism techniques of the Mahists. Congratulations to everyone on this great summer are not just empty words on paper. During that period, Daxia was undoubtedly the number one in the world, leading other regions with its mechanical skills. The expression of the head of the Sakai family changed slightly. This is indeed real history. No matter how strong the development of yin-yang is in Dongsang, it cannot be denied that the original yin-yang and five elements originated in Daxia. You came here to learn from me sincerely, and the Ji family did not hide it. It was the elders of the Ji family who personally taught you the yin-yang and five elements. It took 20 years for you to practice it, and after you returned home, you also gave several gifts as gifts. Magic weapon Sci-fi slowly approached. Later on, the four yin and yang families of Dongsang came into being. Before the Ji family retired, you still sent envoys back to Dongzhou from time to continue practicing. The head of the Sakai family sneered, so what? The Ji family is very powerful, but now the Ji family has declined. We are constantly making progress, but the Ji family is retreating instead of advancing. I've already come to Dongzhou. Where are the Ji family members? Why didn't they come out to stop me? So what? Sci-fi hummed lightly. The next second, she suddenly moved, and her fingers reached out like lightning, instantly constricting the Sakai clan leader's throat. This sudden change changed the expressions of dozens of onmyojis who came with the Sakai clan master. But what frightened the onmyojis was that they found that they could not move at all, and their steps seemed to be frozen in place by something. Sci-fi slowly lifted the head of the Sakai family up, with a cruel and dangerous smile. I want to ask you, Sakai, how dare you act so arrogantly in my country? In the last few hours, I'll beg for votes for Ching Ching. See you in September. Thank you everyone, I will update it for you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 567. With a sound of boom, this sentence exploded in Patriarch Sakai's ears like thunder. The majestic force of yin and yang and the five elements hit his eardrums, and blood was blown out of his ears in an instant. The cultivation base of Patriarch Sakai is not low, and he is considered to be the outstanding group among the onmyoji, so he dared to bring dozens of onmyoji to directly kill Dongzhou. The road to Dongzhou was also very smooth and did not encounter any obstacles. The head of the Sakai family was indeed worried about whether the Ji family would try to stop him, but there was no sound at all. He took it for granted that the Ji family was already afraid. As early as 100 years ago, the Ji family was not the master of the yin-yang five elements realm. Even if the Ji family does appear, he can still retreat. What is he afraid of? But now, the development of things all exceeded the expectations of the Sakai family, and even shattered his cognition. Patriarch Sakai was frightened and his voice trembled. Who are you? Who are you? Which woman is so fierce? He clearly didn't see the opponent use any yin-yang technique, but simply relied on the power of yin-yang and five elements to break the game very violently. It's not that nobody does it, but it's almost without power. But the girl in front of her did it with ease. Is she 20 years old? Even if such talent and strength are placed in Liberty Continent, the geniuses in Liberty Continent are nothing. Patriarch Sakai stared, and in the next second, a name that made the entire yin-yang five elements world tremble 3 times appeared in his mind. This name has always been pressed in their hearts and is the source of all fear. The head of the Sakai family shook again, and finally shouted out, Yu Wu. Yu. Only Yu Wu is a pure fighting type onmyoji. Except for Yu Wu, no other person has such means. Sci-fi raised his eyebrows. Smart, it seems that you have been thinking about me, studying my cultivation method for so long. Have you come up with anything? Her Onmyo technique was also learned in the Eternal Continent. That was when Ye Wanlin was still around, and she could still be at ease and be a little devil in the world. Once on a mission in the wild, she caught a few fish and grilled them and met a starving ghost, so she gave the starving ghost 2 fish. After the starving ghost finished eating, he patted his butt and gave her a very tattered book. After that, as long as she came to this field, the starving ghost would ask her for fish to eat and give her a few pointers. After she completed her studies, she never saw this starving ghost again. She asked who the Onmyoji of Kukaki Minjio came from, and she also wanted to find this starving ghost. The Eternal Continent is very dangerous, but there are also hidden dragons and crouching tigers. She will never underestimate any passerby, even if it is just a beggar. Yawu! You are Yawu, the head of the Sakai family screamed again, and he was very crazy, you are Yawu. At this moment, everyone heard the name. Xiaoyu suddenly looked at Si, his pupils shrank suddenly. Xia Yankai's expression also changed drastically. As one of the chairmen of the Supernatural Administration, she certainly knew that Yu Wu single-handedly stopped the 300 Onmyoji of the Fujiyama family, preventing them from launching the 100 Ghosts Night Walk and invading Dongzhou through the Dongling Sea. The occult administration has always wanted to invite Yu Wu to become the elder Keiqing, but unfortunately they have not been able to find it for so many years. Xia Yankai's body swayed, and his brain was a little confused. Dare to love Yu Wu right in front of them. Still a star on the big screen. The head of the Sakai family is still shouting, Yu Wu. It's really noisy. Si tilted his head slightly, and the fox's eyes gathered a touch of anger. Why do you like to talk so many times? Patriarch Sakai was stunned for a moment. He opened his mouth, but before he could react, his hair was caught. There was a heart-wrenching pain on the scalp, and he screamed bitterly, Lord Yawu. I didn't know Lord Yawu was here, I was guilty. Please forgive me, Lord Yawu. Faced with Yawu, the Sakai patriarch didn't even have the idea of fighting. Don't pretend to be innocent, Si said lightly, you know that Yui Sakai is borrowing money, and even thinking that if she will never be found, then use this method to help the Sakai family, so that you can rush into the Free State. She gave a low smile, I borrowed it from Desya, do you think I will clean her up? Patriarch Sakai's face turned pale. Every word Si said touched his innermost thoughts, and he really thought so. The owner of the Sakai family finally found out why Si made him feel familiar. He was often seen on advertising screens when passing through the city center. Why is Yu Wu a star? The head of the Sakai family was in a mess, and his ears were buzzing. But Si didn't give him a chance to think at all. She raised her hand, and the power of yin and yang and the 5 elements became even more surging. Bang! Boom bang bang! A series of explosions sounded, and dozens of Onmyoji spit out blood, and then all fell to the ground, falling into a deep coma. With one hand, he directly destroyed so many members of the Sakai family. This was not Yu Wu's peak combat power. Ji-Sin couldn't help but swallowed and spit, and was also frightened in his heart. So humming horrible. Anti-Xia, I have abolished their yin-yang and 5-element powers, and they are no longer Onmyoji. Si turned around, you can lock them up directly, and you won't be able to turn over any waves? Xia Yankai's expression was still a little dazed, ah. Oh. Then I'll go back to the hotel first. Si waved lazily, find me if you have something to do. Beating people consumes a lot, she is going to eat a few plates of fried chicken. The girl left very calmly, leaving the others to look at each other in dismay. Even Xia Yankai took a long time to recover, and let his deputy take all these people from the Sakai family down. Mom, I still suspect that you gave me a sister, Xiaoyu said slowly, look at this violent method, I don't believe you are not a family. Xia Yankai turned his head slowly, his voice gloomy, who are you calling violence? Xiaoyu quickly changed his words, I'm really violent, I'm not only violent, but also cold-blooded and ruthless. It's good if you know, Xia Yankai snorted coldly. Also, Mom intends to send you to Eternal Academy, but in the end it's up to you to decide, it's very dangerous there. Xiaoyu didn't hesitate, he said, I'll go. You will never grow without facing danger. Okay, Xia Yankai nodded, your bloodline is not low, you only lack experience, look at Ching Ching, and then look at you. She looked disgusted. Xiaoyu shrugged, he lowered his head slightly, his eyebrows raised. There are indeed many things about Sci-fi that make him feel incredible, but no matter what, her strength is there. How many difficulties and dangers did she have to go through to get where she is today? Xiaoyu didn't dare to think about it. The first assessment at the end of September, Xia Yankai patted him on the shoulder, it doesn't matter that your bloodline is not low, but you have to put enough pressure on yourself to pass. Yui Sakai was condemned all over the world, and the Hera Music Awards announced the cancellation of all her awards. The speed of the fall of a generation of international queens is so fast that everyone is sighed. The so-called Yui Sakai has given fans a drug that destroys the central nervous system, but it is just a means of the occult authority to deal with public opinion. After learning that Sci-fi had dealt with the 40 people in the Sakai family alone, Feng San praised sincerely, Miss Si, what a pervert. Yu Xian raised her eyes. No no no, sweat broke out on Feng San's head, Miss Si is very cute. Yu Xian's tone was indifferent, no mouth, you can give it to others. Feng San. He'd better shut up. Is Miss Si also someone he can praise? Yu Xian closed her eyes and said lightly, go to the fried chicken shop. Feng San didn't dare to say more, and immediately drove to the location sent by Sci-fi. The occult authority managed to arrest more than 40 onmyoji, and the year's performance was resolved. Everyone was happy, but the Sakai family was in a rage. What? The chief elder of the Sakai family was shocked and angry. Not only did the supernatural administration detain Yui, but also all the dozens of onmyoji that Yuenichiro brought. Although this is not the entire strength of the Sakai family, it belongs to the elite group. If these people are lost, the Sakai family will naturally suffer greatly, and I am afraid they are not qualified to fight against Xiaochuan and Takaizawa. Give me the phone number of the top management of the occult authority. The Sakai clan elder was furious, I want to ask them what qualifications they have to detain us. What made him even more incomprehensible was where did the supernatural authority get such power? It's just a group of evolutionists. The Yin-Yang 5 elements realm has also developed a formation to deal with the evolutionary. Although it cannot kill the advanced evolutionary, it can attack and defend, and the evolutionary cannot help them. After all, evolutionaries are a great threat to ordinary people and onmyoji. Of course, they must find a way to target them. The chief elder of the Sakai family dialed the phone number, and as soon as the call was connected, he covered his face and said, I tell you, the supernatural administration is not qualified to detain our people. You are not qualified to control it. The other party is not afraid, but polite, the main seat is not here, but someone asked me to give you a word. The chief elder of the Sakai family frowned and sneered, tell me? I don't need any words. If you don't let them go, I'll sue them to Liberty Island. You are destroying the balance of the world. There has always been a well-watered river between major forces, and it is generally just a small friction. Once there is too much struggle and the balance of the world is destroyed, the free continent will take action and forcibly suppress it. Not to mention, there is also the evolutionary alliance above the supernatural authority. Is it possible that you still want to turn the sky upside down? Master Yawo must let me bring the words. The other party smiled slightly, his voice and tone completely imitated Sci-fi, and slowly, word by word, dongling high, I was able to leave the Fujiyama family 300 onmyoji, why can't I keep 40 people in your Sakai family? Add more in the afternoon. It's September, I'm asking for a guaranteed monthly pass for Ching Ching, I'm just a few votes away from the first place, rush rush. Continue to be number one this month. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 568. The plain and straightforward tone gave people a full sense of oppression, and instantly shocked the eardrums of the elder of the Sakai family. His body swayed suddenly, and his expression changed drastically. If you don't want to hear this, it's no big deal. You can continue to come to Daxia. The other party still smiled, it's just that the person who comes to find you will not be the Supernatural Administration Bureau, but Mr. Yawu himself. Do-do-do. The call was cut off, leaving only the cold mechanical sound. When the eldest elder of the Sakai family came to his senses, the cold sweat on his back had soaked his clothes. He looked at his phone in despair, and his whole body seemed to have suffered an unprecedented painful blow. When other people saw this, they were confused and angry. Great Elder? What did the Supernatural Administration say? Great Elder, we don't need to be afraid of the Supernatural Administration, they are in the wrong. Yes, Great Elder, why do they arrest our people? The eldest elder of the Sakai family slowly raised his head, his face was as pale as paper, and his voice was very difficult. No. It's not the Supernatural Administration, it's Tama Shii. As soon as the name came out, the entire Sakai family fell silent. All sounds disappeared, replaced by horror and fear. In an instant, everyone in the Sakai family lost their fighting spirit. Nothing more than that, because Yawu is too strong, even the former number 1 Fujiyama family was defeated by him, so what can they do? The second elder asked excitedly, was Yawu also at Miss Yui's concert at that time? What's the use of asking these questions now? The eldest elder of the Sakai family fell down on his chair and murmured painfully, it's Tama Shii. We are not opponents. This is true, but some people still can't accept it, but there is nothing they can do. What puzzles them most is that no one knows what Yawu looks like until now, which makes them unable to deploy in advance at all. But according to the rules of yin-yang and 5 elements, the stronger the onmyoji, the more severely eroded by the power of yin-yang and 5 elements, and the appearance will be closer to the dead life like a floating spirit. Maybe Yawu is ugly, a big man with a green face and fangs, and cannot be seen by others. Brother, let's take a trip to Free Continent. The second elder frowned, even if I don't come back, I can't let Yawu take any further. The eldest elder of the Sakai family pursed his lower lip and nodded slowly. The Sakai family didn't know that the big man with green face and fangs they called was sitting under the umbrella, enjoying a box of fried chicken and a can of Coke. A car stopped on the side of the road, the door opened, and Uzion stepped out. He raised his head and saw the golden sunlight pouring down from the sky and falling on the girl's skin. It was hazy and covered with a faint layer of gold. Under the light, her whole body shone brightly and she was a little beautiful. Thrilling. Feeling that someone was looking at her, Sci-fucking turned her head. In an instant, her fox eyes curled up. She waved towards the man and said lazily, Brother Ninth. Feng-san wisely didn't follow him. He was too bored, so he took a car wash bucket and started washing the car. Uzion sat down next to her. He lowered his eyes and saw her cheeks bulging, and her expression softened unconsciously. He raised his hand, touched her head, and whispered, Thank you, Ching Ching. The man's voice was soft and sexy, with a hint of coldness, touching the heart bit by bit. Sci-fucking paused while eating the fried chicken and was slightly startled, Thank me. Yes, Uzion smiled and repeated, Thank you for saving many people and not letting the evildoers succeed. Thank you for guarding the vast land of the 5 states of Daxia. This is his hard work, and it is also the prosperous summer he dreamed of before he died. The land conquered by one soldier must not be coveted by others. It was never an accident that he was attracted to her, it was inevitable. That kind of resonance in the soul, every time she said or did something, it was like a stormy wave swallowing up his heart, making him feel a deep shudder. It is not the wind that moves, nor the flags that move, but the heart of a benevolent person. It's cold at high places, the throne is inherently lonely, and there are too few people who understand him. He might have been unable to control himself in his previous life, but in this life he could completely be himself. You should I fucking blinked with foxy eyes, is there any reward from me? Yeah, Uzian's eyebrows moved slightly, and he took out 2 gold bricks. I don't have much with me, so I owe you first. I fucking took it, and when it was in his hands, Ziobai, who was basking in the sun, smelled the food. It howled happily, immediately jumped up and quickly picked up one of the gold bricks, swallowed it at lightning speed, and burped. I fucking plucked a certain pixie's ear, called it by name, and gritted his teeth, by Jin, you. Upon hearing the full name, the hair on Ziobai's body stood up. It looked pitifully at Uzian, with a cry for help in its eyes. Of course, I fucking also noticed where its gaze was, and she slowly turned her head with murderous intent. Uzian smiled calmly, you are too greedy, you should be taught a lesson. Ziobai let out an ouch, but couldn't break free from I fucking's clutches. Beifeiju, let me tell you, you won't be able to eat gold for a week. I fucking warned coldly, I feed you at a fixed time every day, and you actually robbed me of my money. Ziobai was very sad. It thought it could hold a thigh, but it didn't expect that the thigh would kick it back into the owner's hands. U11 nodded and said, go back to Siju City. Well, the matter is done. I fucking finished eating the fried chicken and wiped his hands, but I have to go back to the Yin family tomorrow. Chu Lingyun's new movie was filmed in Siju City, and this was also her first step to return to grain. I fucking slowly stretched out. The girl had beautiful curves and a perfect body shape. Under the warm and strong sunshine, Uzian stretched out his hand toward her, let's go, girl. At night, Sijukan. I fucking returned to Uzian's private villa. She spent a lot of energy today and fell asleep with her pillow in her arms. Feng San brought her suitcase in. Hey, Miss Si, this suitcase seems to be filled with books. It's really heavy. Seeing Si fucking lift it up easily with one hand, he thought he could do it, but it turned out that he was just thinking it. What's even more unfortunate is that when Feng San got to the 3rd step, he was tripped by Xiao Bai, who ran downstairs. With a clang sound, the suitcase rolled down and opened. Feng San hurriedly went to pick up the book, and then saw the title of the latest book. 100 Ways to Make Him Desire You. His hands were hot, and he hurriedly stuffed the book into his suitcase, went to get another book, and saw Become a Domineering Female CEO and Imprison Him. This line. The air suddenly became quiet. Feng San's hand froze, his face instantly turned red, and he stammered, 999. Uzian naturally saw it, and his expression did not fluctuate at all, pack it up. Feng San hurriedly put all the dozen books into the suitcase, and then rushed out the door. Ziobai was so proud that he squealed a few times. Uzian glanced at it lightly and took out 2 gold bricks. Ziobai picked up the gold brick and ran excitedly to the yard to enjoy a midnight snack. Uzian picked up the suitcase and put it into Si fucking's bedroom. He stood at the door and looked at her quietly for a while, then came to the door and left the villa. It was already 11 o'clock at night, and the nightlife in Siju City had just begun, but the back door of Guanghua Temple was very quiet. The monk had just returned from drinking and was sneaking into the temple when he suddenly noticed a figure under the tree. He was startled, so he protected the wine first, and after taking a closer look, he let out a long breath. The donor is coming out at such a late hour? I wonder if the donor has anything important to tell the monk. Uzian walked out slowly and said in a calm voice, 3 months, you are quite smart. The monk was very humble. The donor is so complimentary. It is the donor who has made countless merits and accumulated a lot of blessings. After a pause, he carefully took out the payment code. Donor, for the sake of my spirituality, little monk, can you? Uzian's eyebrows moved and he transferred the account without being stingy. The monk smiled happily and said, "Thank you, donor. You are so generous. He could use some good wine instead." Uzian turned around and was about to leave. Donor, the monk suddenly stopped him. Uzian turned around. The monk's expression was rare and serious. Without the previous laughter, he clasped his hands and bowed. The dragon's veins are passive, and the future is unpredictable. Please be careful in everything. Uzian's eyes narrowed slightly. Okay, I understand. The other side. The first elder and second elder of the Sakai family have arrived in Free Continent. They only have temporary passes and no permanent residence permits. The temporary passes are only valid for 7 days. Once the 7 days are up, they must leave Free Continent. Free Continent is a magical place with everything. Onmyoji, evolvers, highly intelligent lunatics, very diverse. They are Onmyoji, so naturally they can only go to the Onmyoji Association. In a free state, only the main city is an absolutely safe place. Brother, the second elder's voice suddenly tightened, Yuan Mingchi. The great elder stopped and looked over. A young man wearing a plain robe was coming out of the main entrance of the Onmyoji Association. He had a smile on his face and his face was extremely handsome, which attracted many people to look back. Since Yuan Mingchi massacred the Fujiyama family, his reputation in the yin-yang and five elements world has been far higher than that of Yu Wu. This is an extremely cruel method and cannot be punished, but after Yuan Mingchi returned to Free Continent, he was not punished in any way. The eldest elder of the Sakai family was extremely confused, but he would not be stupid enough to report Yuan Mingchi. This on the contrary proved that Yuan Mingchi had a very high status in Free Continent. The only person in this world who can deal with Yu Wu is Yuan Mingchi. When he thought of this, the eldest elder of the Sakai family perked up and quickly walked towards Yuan Ming Pond. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Qing Qian. Chapter 569. Lord Yuan, the Sakai clan elder looked excited. Lord Yuan, please stop. Hearing the voice, Yuan Mingchi turned his head, and he narrowed his eyes slightly. Who are you? Let's go to Yuan Sakai, the first elder respectfully said. At that time, Lord Yuan came to Kingdu, and I had the honor to meet you. Yuan Mingchi was not impressed, his expression was light. Is something wrong? When the first elder saw him asking this question, he was overjoyed and immediately said, It's such a master Yuan, you are in charge of the Onmyoji Association, you must know Yu Wu. He relied on his superb fighting ability, and wantonly mutilated the Onmyoji of my Sakai family, a serious violation of the law. In accordance with the regulations of Liberty Island, please Lord Yuan must make the decision for us. When Yuan Mingchi was about to step out, he suddenly smiled, with a charming smile. Well, I do know her, let's move to another place, you can tell me the details of the matter. The first elder was even more overjoyed, and he pulled the second elder. Second, keep up. The two followed behind Yuan Mingchi, and they also received the attention of many people. Murmurs came. Who are they, and how did they get involved with Lord Yuan? Looking at the clothes and dressing, it seems to be from Dongsang. The ancestors of Lord Yuan are also from Dongsang, so they are probably relatives. If only I could talk to Lord Yuan. I don't know who is fortunate enough to be married to Lord Yuan. When the first elder heard these words of envy and jealousy, he was also a little overwhelmed. Even if he followed Yuan Mingqi to turn left and right out of the main city and came to a dark alley, he didn't think there was anything wrong. Yuan Mingqi put his hands behind his back. Okay, tell me everything. The first elder told the whole story, not forgetting to add fuel and jealousy. Lord Yuan, the juniors of our family are also ignorant, but they have already received the punishment they deserve, but Yu Wu still detained more than 40 of our onmyojis. He is clearly provoking a battle between the Sakai family and the occult authority. Yes, it's really too much. Yuan Mingqi laughed softly. Then what do you want me to do? The first elder said, please also ask Lord Yuan to personally kill Yu Wu, so that he can no longer endanger the yin-yang 5 elements realm. Otherwise, the lives of all onmyoji will be in worry. The second elder also said, this Yu Wu is very cunning and has high combat power. Please, Lord Yuan, must not be merciful. Hearing this, Yuan Mingqi slowly raised his head. The smile on his face had all disappeared, leaving only a bone-deep coldness. The next second, when the first elder and the second elder did not react at all, their necks were entangled by the cold tail of the Orakai Yachi. At this time, the eight-headed snake is not a cute thing that is entangled in the dead wood and bright moon to ask for the Tiankong cloud sword, but a real fierce god. The eyes of the snake were scarlet, and the bloody aura was blowing. The elder's smile froze on his face, and he was extremely incredulous. Lord Yuan, the Sakai family never offended Yuan Mingqi. Why did Yuan Mingqi attack him? It's embarrassing that you guys still came to Liberty Island to find me. Before that, I might really go and meet her for a while. Yuan Mingqi smiled, but I'm so sorry, the person you want me to kill is my family. Little sister. What Yui Sakai did, he had already learned from Kukaki Minjio. This trivial matter is really nothing to Sci-fucking. Yuan Mingqi was worried that he couldn't make a move to show his presence in front of his little junior sister. By the way, when he met the moon, someone came to the door. Plop. Plop dash. Both the first elder and the second elder fell to the ground, not only in shock and fear, but also because the Orakai was devouring their vitality. They have no strength to stand, their faces are full of horror, and their brains are completely unable to function. Is Yu Wu a woman or Yuan Mingqi's younger sister? Yuan Mingqi leaned down slightly, his smile deepened. Tell me, why did you come to me so hard to think about it? It is really a sheep into the tiger's mouth, do not want to live. The great elder suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, his eyes widened, and his body fell down. Soon, everything fell silent. Orochimaru also withdrew from the fighting state and turned into a miniature shape, with 8 heads turning around. People are dying in Liberty Island all the time, not to mention that the 2 elders of the Sakai family are not residents of Liberty Island. Nobody will care. Yuan Mingqi took out a tissue, wiped his hands, and moved very elegantly, with an old aristocratic laziness on his body. Bakey, go. This time, he finally won a round from Yu Jian. 2 days have passed, and the 2 elders have never returned, and they can't get in touch. The Sakai family is in a panic, and they don't know what happened. At the same time, Yin Xiangxi was also anxious. She never thought that not only did Sci-fucking have nothing, but Yui Sakai was directly expelled from the international music industry. She also heard that Yui Sakai didn't come out in the summer. Maybe someone from the supernatural administration has already arrested her. Then Sci-fucking must know the truth. What should she do? Yin Xiangxi was so panicked that she could only go to Yin Yungzi. Her face was pale. Sister Yungzi, what should I do? Sci-fucking is actually fine, and Yui Sakai was arrested by the Supernatural Bureau. Didn't you say that you would solve this matter well? Yin Yungzi shook off her hand and said angrily, now that you have failed, you still have the nerve to ask me. Sakai Yui is also really a waste, even being targeted by people from the occult authority. Yin Xiangxi's hands were shaking. Sister Yungzi, you must save me, I. Boom. Before the words were finished, The door was kicked open at this moment. Yin Yao walked in with a cold face, couldn't help but pick up Yin Xiangxi and strode out. Yin Xiangxi screamed. She was held by Yin Yaonian like this and brought all the way to the hall. The movement was very loud, attracting many people, and several elders were also disturbed. The first elder slapped the table heavily, his face ashen. Yin Yaonian, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yin Yaonian looked cold. She almost killed Ching Ching, can't I deal with her? The first elder frowned and glanced at Sci-fi, who walked in side by side with Nian Yin. His face was also ugly. Isn't she okay? Yin Yaonian, you forgot that families can't kill each other? Let them go quickly. Yin Xiangxi's body trembled violently. Elder, save me. What if someone wants to kill other children? Sci-fi said lightly, is it a serious crime? Everyone, it was Yin Xiangxi who gave my sister Yue Sakai's concert tickets and urged her to go to the scene. Nian Yin said, she also asked Yue Sakai to borrow my sister's luck to achieve murder. Purpose. When these words came out, everyone was in an uproar. They are evolutionaries, and naturally they will not believe the set of public opinions out there. Borrowing luck is indeed something that Onmyoji can do. Is Yin Xiangxi so vicious? I don't, Yin Xiangxi cried, I just saw that there was a conflict between Sister Fucking and Sister Yungzi, and I wanted to ease their relationship, but it happened that Sister Fucking was in the entertainment industry, and I just wanted to help her develop contacts. I didn't know Yue Sakai would be so vicious. She thought about it, as long as she didn't admit it, Sci-fi couldn't convict her. If she was really convicted of murdering her own clan, she would be finished. She also wants to study at Eternal Academy, she can't lose to Sci-fi as a low-level evolutionary. Okay, the elder said, Acacia is just a good intention to help you make contacts in the entertainment industry. She didn't know that such a thing would happen. The real culprit has already subverted the law on the spot. It's all a family, it's enough to let go of your anger, you have to forgive others and forgive them. Yin Xiangxi wiped away her tears, trembling, I really don't know, if I knew she would do such a thing, I would never let you go. Yin Yungzi sighed, Sister Fucking, let's stop here, Acacia doesn't know about her. Sci-fi has no evidence at all, how can he prove it? No matter how bad Yin Xiangxi was, his bloodline was higher than that of Sci-fi. Even if this matter reached the level of opening an elders meeting, Sci-fi would not be able to get any benefits. Really, I don't know, Sci-fi threw the phone away, but why don't I hear it? With tears in Yin Xiangxi's eyes, she was pitiful, I really don't know, Someone can't watch it anymore. Sci-fi, what do you mean? It's clearly Yue Sakai who harmed you, so why do you have to look for Acacia unhappy? It's just a squad, if the supernatural authority didn't catch Yue Sakai, you'd be out of luck, you know. And also, Yin Yaonian's body became more and more cold, and he said coldly, shut up. All sounds stopped abruptly. Yin Yungzi's expression froze, and her fingernails were pinched into the palm of her hand. With Yin Yaonian around, it was indeed very difficult to clean up Sci-fi. Ian Sci-fi said, take the computer. Nian Yin didn't ask any questions, and immediately brought the computer in his arms. I don't know, right, Sci-fi turned on the computer and clicked on a video, then why do people want to drag you to hell even if they die? The computer screen was facing Yin Xiangxi, and the Great Elder and others could also see it. Yue Sakai was very famous, and they naturally recognized her face. Although Yue Sakai in the video is very embarrassed lying on the ground, it does not prevent them from recognizing. The elder took a deep breath. Yue Sakai was indeed caught by someone from the occupational authority. Yin Xiangxi, you did it on purpose. You deliberately told me that Sci-fi was a top-notch in Daxia with strong luck, and that if I borrowed it, I would definitely be able to reach a higher level, But you didn't tell me that she was your Yin family member. You still want me to be a stepping stone to Yin Yongzi. On the screen, Yui Sakai scolded sharply, Yin Xiangxi, wait. I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. Video so far. Si fucking said unhurriedly, why, have you evolved to the point where you can't even use high technology? Where did a group of idiots come from? They are too embarrassed to say that they are evolutionaries. 3 shifts. It's almost 500 votes, please break it. Continue to give Ching Ching a guaranteed monthly pass, and make a wave. Tomorrow will release the list of monthly pass lottery. See you tomorrow. After having everything taken away, she returns as a god. Author, Ching Qian. Chapter 570. Is this evolutionary or degenerate? The entire hall was instantly silent, and Yin Xiangxi's crying stopped abruptly. She stared blankly at Yui Sakai on the video. Her thoughts stopped at this moment. It is true that she was the one who tipped off Yui Sakai, but she had absolutely no intention of letting Yui Sakai back Yin Yongzi. What did Yui Sakai mean? Yin Xiangxi's forehead was dripping with fine sweat, and she was trembling all over. Is this what you mean by being ignorant? Si fucking turned around. Don't tell me Yui Sakai is about to die, and he came here to frame you. This sentence reminded Yin Xiangxi. She raised her head suddenly, and said in a trembling voice, yes. She deliberately framed me. She wants to sow discord between us. Sister fucking, you must not believe her. Yin Xiangxi, you are not well known in the evolutionary world. How did she know you? Si fucking bent down slightly and gave a low laugh. Specially framed you, are you worthy? Yin Xiangxi's eyes widened suddenly. Also, let me remind you again, Si fucking said lightly, this is a video I specially brought from the Supernatural Administration. After being severely tortured, Yui Sakai can stand it? She straightened up again and glanced around. There is still someone to mediate. The slap didn't fall on you, it doesn't hurt, right? The boys and girls who came into her sight lowered their heads in shame and did not dare to look at them. The elders were also speechless. He had indeed never thought of such means as video recording, which was completely his blind spot. You are filming a film and television drama, this must be some kind of technological means. Yin Xiangxi suddenly seemed to remember something, and she yelled, this video is fake, it's synthetic. I also know how to synthesize, not bad. Si fucking clapped his hands, now that I have a brain, praise me. Her expression was sloppy and unafraid. Yin Xiangxi was almost going crazy. She was already very careful, and even when she went to Si fucking, she did not leave any clues in words. But Yin Xiangxi never thought that Si fucking was shrewd enough to leave a video, and Yui Sakai's accusation before her death made her jump into the Yellow River and couldn't wash it. But she was here to help Yin Yongzi. Yin Xiangxi gritted his teeth and spoke again, Elder, Patriarch, it's Yun. Before she could finish her words, she was severely kicked in the heart, and her body flew upside down. Yin Xiangxi opened her mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. She looked at Yin Yongzi with a gloomy face in disbelief. Before she said anything, another mouthful of blood spurted out. The foot was so strong that she didn't even have the strength to get up. Dare to arrange the eldest lady here, Yin Yongzi's personal bodyguard looked fiercely. What did you say to Yui Sakai? Do you want the Yin family to oppose the Sakai family? What is your purpose? Blood kept leaving from the corners of Yin Xiangxi's mouth. She wanted to speak, but she couldn't breathe. Sister fucking, it's because I don't know people well. Yin Yongzi stood up and was very apologetic. I didn't expect Acacia to do such a thing, but fortunately you're fine, otherwise I wouldn't be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life. Si fucking didn't give her a look. Yin Yongzi was suffocating in her heart, but she couldn't do anything, so she could only speak in front of Yin Xiangxi, Elder, although Acacia is my playmate, but she broke the family rules and she must be severely punished. When it came to Yin Yongzi, the first elder made a decisive decision, maliciously mutilating members of the family's direct lineage. Family rules will be dealt with. Seeing Yin Xiangxi being dragged down by the guards, Yin Yongzi breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. Uncle Yaonian, sister fucking, are you satisfied with this punishment? Yin Yaonian ignored her and just looked at Si fucking, ching ching. Satisfied, Si fucking said calmly, I was forced to get rid of my own people. I am very satisfied with this scene. Yin Yongzi's smile couldn't be maintained anymore. The anger in her heart was already stuck in her throat, which made her very uncomfortable. Also, if you want to have a relationship, you can call him father. Who are you disgusting with one sister? Si fucking ruthlessly exposed the little juju in Yin Yongzi's heart. I'm not a man, your tricks are useless in front of me. Yin Yongzi's face froze completely. I'm not. Si fucking didn't want to listen to Yin Yongzi's nonsense. She turned around. Uncle, Ian, let's go. After the three left, the other evolutionaries of the Yin family had no reason to stay any longer, and left one after another. In the inner room, Yin Xiangxi has endured a round of family law, and is already full of anger. She heard footsteps and raised her head with difficulty. Her vision was a little blurry, but she could still recognize Yin Yongzi's appearance. Yin Yongzi said coldly, Yin Xiangxi, you should never want to confess me. Did you forget that you took the initiative to ask me to say that you could get rid of Si fucking? What does this have to do with me? It's your waste, it's your own fault, and you can't blame others. She was trampled by Si fucking, and she couldn't raise her head in front of the Yin family. Yin Xiangxi looked at Yin Yongzi with resentment, and her voice was intermittent. Yin Yongzi, I curse you to die. You will not have a future, you will definitely be worse than me. Yin Yongzi's eyes became colder, and she hummed indifferently, me? I will enter the inner courtyard of the Eternal Academy in the future, get the artifact from Eternal, and become a super evolver. She is the key protection object of the Evolutionary Alliance and the Intercontinental Research Institute. Even if Si fucking wanted to move her, he had to be prepared to confront these two forces. Yin Yaonian has no such ability. In the sound of Yin Xiangxi's curse, Yin Yongzi left in a hurry. Eldest elder, miss. At this time, the head guard left and returned, and he said respectfully, I found out, Yui Sakai was indeed arrested by the Supernatural Bureau, and there were more than 40 onmyoji in the Sakai family who were arrested. Deducted. The first elder couldn't help hissing, and hurriedly asked, the strength of the supernatural administration is already so high. The head guard shook his head. There is a yin-yang celestial master named Yu Wu in the yin-yang 5 elements realm. It was Ta who solved the Sakai family. Yu Wu is a fighting onmyoji. Judging from the information given by Dong Sang, Ta may be comparable to an S-level combat system evolutionary. Yin Yongzi lost his voice. There is still such an onmyoji. This violates the theorem of yin-yang and 5 elements. 6 years ago, none of the 300 onmyoji of the Fujiyama family could beat Yu Wu. The captain of the guard gave a wry smile. At least the S-rank evolutionary couldn't do that. This sentence gave the grandfather and grandson a lot of impact. Yongzi, I thought that onmyoji was no threat to us, but this jade is really scary. The great elder urged, be careful when dealing with onmyoji in the future. If you accidentally encounter Ta, you must also be careful. Respectfully, absolutely cannot offend. Yin Yongzi also knew the seriousness of the matter. Yes, Grandpa. After the 10-day military training, Xia University officially started. Nian Yan also entered the campus as a freshman and began to attend classes. There are not many courses in the archaeology department. After Si fucking took the book, he went to Chu Lingyun's crew. As soon as he entered, he heard Chu Lingyun's roar. Si fucking took a step back and asked the assistant director beside him, what's wrong? Mr. Si, it's like this. The assistant director sighed, because this time the movie has a plot of going to sea. We are asking the Principality of Miston to borrow a nuclear submarine, but they don't agree, saying that unless the heroine is replaced by Ellie Miss Count Cha, director Chu is losing his temper. This was the first time Chu Lingyun had been threatened, and he was naturally extremely angry. "Tell them it's impossible," Chu Lingyun roared into the microphone, "no one can point fingers at my movie. Don't even think about putting a trick in my movie." "What, Countess? I said that my protagonist can only be from Daxia, can't you understand people's words? It's okay to have an empty head, and it's still in the water. I bought." The entire crew is Chu Lingyun's dragon roar. The crew of the crew were all dumbfounded. The assistant director was very helpless. "Director Chu has this character, Mr. Si, please be considerate." Si fucking said lazily, "It's okay, I'm used to it." "Huh," the assistant director was taken aback. "Are you used to it?" "He is not used to it, where did teacher Si get used to it?" The assistant director was a little confused, but didn't think much about it. "It's a pity that teacher Yoon is not here. If teacher Yoon is here, her face would be a pass to the universe." The assistant director shook his head and sighed again. "No one is as well known internationally as Yoon Lanzao, and of course she has a lot of face. Yoonlan's fans are all over the world, and both 11 Continent and Dongsang have produced various documentaries and animations based on her. Under the circumstances that Daxia film and television dramas are difficult to survive and Daxia people are frequently discriminated against, Yoonlan can get many princes and nobles of the principality to come to greet her in person." A group of majestic lions appeared in a movie filmed by Yoonlan, which was specially given to her by the king of the Duchy of L after learning of her needs. These lions can go into battle to kill the enemy, and training one will consume a lot of manpower and material resources. But the king of the Principality of L didn't even blink, and even specially sent a unique treasure in the palace. And when Glenn's other crew, the Principality of L, which had 7 movie stars and actresses gathered together, came to borrow a lion, and after begging for a long time in various ways, the king of the Principality of L did not get a nod. That's the difference. Without Yoonlan, Chu Lingyun was indeed a bit at a loss when borrowing props. "It's a pity, why did such a big devil who swept the international film and television industry quit the circle?" The assistant director was about to comfort Chu Lingyun when Si fucking asked him, "Apart from the nuclear submarine, do you need any other equipment?" The assistant director's footsteps stopped suddenly, and his expression was a little surprised. "Mr. Si, what did you say?" Si fucking pressed the phone of Raphael, Duke of Miston. She thought for a while, and said, "My face can barely count as a pass. Good morning. Continue to give Ching Ching a guaranteed monthly pass. Thank you all for your support. 3 equals. Still have to give the 6th a chance. 2333. In the end, is Chu Lingyun the first to recognize Ching Ching? Is it Yoon Lan or Lao Lu who recognizes the younger sister first?